Hi, I'm Jim Gordon.
And I'm Lita Leapins.
And welcome to another edition of Our City Tonight.
We're here in the Cabana Room at Hydra Restaurant, where we love to film.
We do. We also like to show you the show, which we'll get to right after you watch this. What you're looking at is a wonderful new animated movie that's available now on Netflix. A great film for the whole family. It's called In Your Dreams.
Stevie will say, why do you have to be so... Okay, we're done here. Ta-da!
Hey guys, something came up and I'm headed out of town super early.
You're leaving? Dad, it's not like Mom's gonna move, right?
I just don't want you to worry, honey.
Well, joining us now from that movie is the co-writer, director, and I should also mention he's the founder and CEO of Cuckoo Studios, who produced this film. It is a great pleasure to welcome Alex Wu to Our City Tonight. Hello, Alex.
Hi, Jim. It's great to see you.
Great to see you, sir. First off the bat, congratulations on this film. Animation, and we'll get into your long career in the animated world, but this is such a wonderful film for families, and we're going to get into the plot, and you can give our viewers a little idea more about it. But what I loved about this is because it really shows a family that's not perfect. The love is still there, and that really resonated, I thought. Can you tell our viewers a bit about the family and these two wonderful children and what they want?
Yeah, so the movie stars or follows Stevie and Elliot, who are two siblings who live in the Midwest in Minnesota, which is where I grew up. And their family is going through some changes, and change is hard for kids. And Stevie tries, she's the eldest sibling, I'm the eldest sibling, and she tries very hard to sort of keep her family together and keep things as they are. And so, yeah, it's a very personal film. It was sort of based off of what happened to me when I was a kid, when I was about 6 or 7 years old. I woke up one morning and my mom was at the front door and she had her bags packed, and she had to sort of gently explain to me and my brother that she was going away for a little while to figure things out for herself and for our family. I think my parents got married quite young, and so I think parenthood was sort of thrust upon them quite quickly. And so she had to sort of figure out, who she was and who she wanted to be. And I totally understand that now, but as a kid, it's very scary. And I think, you just want your family to be whole and to be together and to be perfect. And this movie is very much sort of an exploration of imperfect people and imperfect parents and imperfect families. And realizing that that's actually okay. That's actually what life is about. It is imperfect. It is messy. And it's actually coming together and getting through those messy times is what makes a family a family. It's what makes life really meaningful.
One of the nice things, and you just touched on it, that I really liked about this film, as you said, there's no guilty parties here. There's no one's right, no one's wrong. These are just parents that I don't doubt the lack of love there. It's just, as you said, life is challenging at times. What I also found interesting, and again, I'll be honest with you, I'm not around kids very often, so as a longtime film critic, I would often err on the side of caution as to how much I think kids can digest. I don't think I give them enough credit. When you guys are sitting down, and this story was with you for a lot of years, I think 10 years, if I read it correctly, is there a lot of discussion as to what kids can take in, the characters, but also the viewers? I'm thinking of the two kids, Stevie and Elliot, who travel into a dream world to meet Mr. Sandman to get this wish granted. But is there discussions about how much kids can digest?
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously, you have to think about your audience and what they're able to, digest and what's palatable for them. We worked actually with a lot of child psychologists. It was 2 or 3 of them actually, and we showed them the film early on and got their insights. And they felt like it was so validating for us because we explored a lot of different emotions that we kind of didn't hold back. Because I wanted to approach this movie and tell the story as honestly as possible and as authentically as possible. And, when I was a kid, I went through a lot of emotions when this was happening to my family. And so we have Stevie and Elliot go through all those different emotions. And the child psychologist told us they were so happy to see that because these moments are very challenging for kids, and they do go through every single emotion that you can imagine. So, we definitely think about that. And we try to make it, I think kids are really smart. I think sometimes we don't give them enough credit. And even though they can't articulate some of their thoughts, they're still having them. And I think even though they can't explain their understanding of something, I think they still, even on a subconscious level, are able to understand things. So we try not to talk down to kids with this film. We treated them as if, they were as intelligent and savvy as an adult audience. Yeah.
It's interesting too, because I don't want to presume too much here, but I love the story that you created where they've got to go to this fantastic magical world full of scary cereals. I mean, there's one great line in this movie. I'm never going to hear a line like this again where it's, Dad, there's a dead girl in my cereal. I mean, those are lines you just don't hear very often, but also that you need to add these magical elements as, not to manipulate the children viewers, but it's a great way to keep them hooked into what you're trying to tell them. Am I right about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, I tried to create something, cinematically that people haven't seen before. I mean, that's what gets me to go to the movies. I want to see something new. I want to see something fresh. And I also want to see something funny. I want to be entertained. I mean, that's what I love about going to the movies. That's what I love about film. It can take you through this emotional roller coaster, and you can feel every single emotion. And the best movies, I think, do that. They give you comedy, they give you drama, they give you adventure, they give you action. And so that's very much what we tried to do with this film.
I talked as a film critic for many decades. I've marveled at the evolution of animated films. It's just remarkable to see how much they've come forward, where you can say, hey, this film is not just a top film in the animated category, this is a top 10 for me. You've had a great history, which I do want to mention, because you spent a lot of time as a story artist at Pixar, that little studio, involved with movies that everybody knows, like Ratatouille, WALL-E, Cars 2, Finding Dory, The Incredibles. You're an Emmy winner. Talk about how much that helped you in your career, and then to finally step out on your own with Cuckoo Studios.
Yeah, I mean, it was instrumental. I love that studio so much. I love the people there. I loved my time there. I mean, I'm so lucky that I got to work with some of the greatest filmmakers in our generation. I worked with Brad Bird on Ratatouille. I worked with Andrew Stanton on WALL-E. John Lasseter on Cars 2. I worked with Peter Sohn on The Good Dinosaur. Just some of the greats in our industry. And so I learned so much from them. And everything that I've learned about filmmaking and cinema, I really learned during my time there. So, I brought all of that learning to this film and to Cuckoo Studios, and hopefully I'm now able to sort of add my own sort of spin to things and make things my own. So.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, we need more movies like this, because I think this is one of those wonderful films that families can sit and watch and talk about afterward. It is a lovely, lovely film. Alex, this is, I believe, the first film for your Cuckoo Studios?
Yeah, it's our first feature. We did a television show called Go Go Corey Carson with Netflix 2 years prior to this film. But yeah, this is our big first, production as our first feature film. So we're really excited about it.
The movie is In Your Dreams. It's available now for streaming on Netflix. Alex, I want to thank you very much for joining us, and I really want to make sure we get you back on this show when you have your next feature coming out.
Yeah, would love to.
Thank you, Alex.
Thanks so much, Jim.
This segment was brought to you by the Richmond Sentinel, providing news, entertainment, and human interest stories in print and online.
What you are looking at is the beginning of a song that is unique in pop music history. In August of 1969, the comic book characters of Archie jumped off the pages and into #1 on the Billboard charts with this song.
Sugar, oh honey, honey, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting.
And now joining us, a guy who was a big part of that song and many, many other hits of my youth and even today. I was just saying to him off camera, I love his music. Joining us now, it's music icon Andy Kim. Andy, a great thrill and pleasure for me. Welcome to our city tonight.
You know, they call you an icon when you get older. You know that, don't you?
You know what? I'm getting older too, but they certainly don't call me that. But it's if that's the worst they call you, that's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah. Hey, you got 6 decades I got to try to get through, so I'm going to run through this quickly if you don't mind. One of the things that amazed me about your career, and I got to tell people, if they do not know what the Brill Building was, back in the day, this was Music Central along with, say, Detroit with Motown. You're a 16-year-old kid from Montreal who really, okay, gets into the building, but talk about how you managed to get hired in this. This was ground zero for music back then.
Well, I think the most important thing is that why did I get on a bus from Montreal to New York City in search of Jeff Barry? And the truth is, I grew up in a tenements of Montreal. We really didn't have much. My brothers had a transistor radio and played records. So I borrowed a transistor radio one night, and there was a lot of static, and eventually I heard WABC New York, Cousin Brucey. That changed my life. It gave me the ability to dream something outside of the locked box I was in. So they also had magazines, and those magazines told you who the songwriters were and told you who the address was. And it, you know, they called it Tin Pan Alley at one point.
Yeah.
Real building is that.
Yeah, and just to give people perspective, as you said, it goes back, but at the time you're getting there, this is where people like Carole King are, Neil Sedaka, Neil Diamond. How did it feel as a young lad from Montreal being in the middle of that kind of creativity?
Well, I didn't feel anything other than how lucky I was to be there. I mean, I didn't show up with a resume. I showed up as a dreamer. And that's who I am. I'm basically a dreamer. And so, you know, I think that there's a difference between wishing and dreaming. Wishing never gets you anywhere. But if you really dream about something and it's so important to your life that you escape the tenements of Montreal and get on a bus to go to New York City and don't even know that there's customs, it's just, it sounds amazing, but to me, it was a natural thing to do.
Yeah, I tell you, the strength, but again, as you said off camera, just the naivete that comes when you're at that age is part of what you obviously had going to New York at that age. You have two songs that I want to get right to that to this day I will never ever grow tired of hearing. One off the bat we just played with Sugar Sugar, but very soon after getting the Brill Building, you have a really, really big hit, which as I said, one of the two songs I love, and that was Baby How'd We Ever Get This Way. Talk about how you get from being a young guy in the building to that big hit.
Very simple. I wrote about something that I fantasized, you know, how do I say this without getting into trouble?
Say it. We're not live. We can bleep this out of it if you need.
Look, it's just about, it's your ability to understand what love is. And I really didn't know what love was like. And sure, I love my mom and dad, God rest their souls, and my brothers. But to actually meet someone and to actually have this passion within you, to know that it's all ephemeral. It wasn't. I look back on it now and I thank her for the song, but I don't regret my life.
It's a great
Am
way
I
to put
confusing matters or?
No. I think that's a wonderful way to put that. You also a song that went #1 all over the world, and as I said, one of those songs I will never grow tired of hearing, and a song called "Rock Me Gently."
Well, you know, it's an interesting situation with me because in the Brill Building, in Jerry and Mike's and Jeff and Ellie and Phil Spector's visions, you're only as good as your last 2 minutes and 30 seconds, which meant you better have a hit or else you're not here anymore. And I had enough hits that there was a big change going on, and everybody was leaving the Brill Building. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people. Jeff being one of them, moved to LA. And Lieber and Stoller were born in LA. And it was just one of those things. And so for me, at that point, I was, if I can take a line from one of my songs, although I was young, I was on the back porch of my career. And I think the second or third day that I was there, I met someone, and we went to dinner in Malibu, and we walked the beach in Malibu. By the time I got home, it was 4 o'clock in the morning. I picked up the guitar and I wrote the song. It's as simple as it is. So if you read the lyrics slowly, you'll understand what happened.
I want to mention too, Andy, this is exciting. I will be there. I want to tell our viewers across Vancouver and BC, the Andy Kim Christmas concert, December 13th at River Rock Casino Resort in Richmond. You're going to bring a whole bunch of people together, and the great news is going to be great music for a great cause, proceeds benefiting Variety, the children's charity of BC, which is a great thing. What can people expect that night?
So I have Tom Cochrane coming.
Nice.
I have 5440. Neil and Dave will show up. The Washboard Union, which is awesome. Men Without Hats. Joe Keithley, Ray Bays, Lee Aaron, Jojo, Mason, and my friend Dan Hill.
Thank you, Andy. It'd be a pleasure to meet you in person. I will certainly be at your show. We should remind folks again, December 13th, River Rock Casino. Tickets, you can find them at the usual outlets. Folks, I got to tell you, Andy, I'm going to wrap up by just mentioning a few things. I don't want to embarrass you, but we got to say, Canadian Music Industry Hall of Fame, Canada's Walk of Fame of Songwriters Hall of Fame, Billboard's Hit Parade Hall of Fame, multiple Juno Award winner, and I know you take great pride in this, Officer of the Order of Canada. Andy Kim, it has been a great thrill for me to have you on this show. Thank you for joining us.
I'm honored. Thank you so much.
This segment was sponsored by the Richmond Sentinel, providing news, entertainment, and human interest stories in print and online.
Be sure to check out the latest Our City Tonight column in iconic Concierge magazine. It's available now in print and online.
Well, as we've been doing throughout this year of 2025 and celebrating 10 years of Lita Leapins on the air
Jim Gordon.
and online, we've been taking a few moments here and there throughout the episodes to look back at some of our favorite moments over the last decade, and this is another specific category.
Yes, we're taking the liberty of celebrating, well, the fun we've had actually on the show. This particular one is our favorite red carpet moments. Some of the really cool people that we've had a chance to interview on, whether it's a red carpet, a purple carpet, a green carpet, but we've been able to sit down with some very, very famous folks and get an interview over the years.
You were up first.
Okay, well, these are a few of my favorite moments.
Well, you got a huge following, and we loved you. Oh, thank you. And Ellen actually cracked everybody up.
That is true. I was the type. I think Ellen even pulls it off a little better than I do, though. To be honest, yeah.
You know, my wife and I were huge fans of the book way before the movie was greenlit, and we were just like, I gotta make this movie. They just have to. And the fact that they did, even if I wasn't in the movie, I'm so excited for this movie to come out. So yeah.
While Jim's holding down the fort in Vancouver, I am here in Toronto. Really quick trip, and I'm at the Scotia Theatre, courtesy of Warner Brothers Canada. When you were studying drama at Yale, did you ever imagine you were going to be in a fantasy comic book, being a superhero villain?
I think somewhere way down the line. Definitely not as soon as we've done it over here. I thought I'd probably be on Broadway doing a play or something like that, but I'm glad to be here.
this is not your first comic book movie.
No, my little one I shot in Vancouver.
Yes, The Watchmen, absolutely. And so we're excited I actually saw the movie this morning,
Oh, cool.
and it was absolutely incredible. Did you do all the stunts yourself? Did you have to prepare, train?
Oh, no, I mean, we all did all the stunts, meaning we all did, stunts did, great stunt team. I mean, it was all hands on deck. I mean,
Now, you make a tremendous villain.
Thank you.
So did you do anything special to prepare for being so evil in this?
Yeah, I spend most of my time at home threatening the wife and kids. So then when I come to work, it's easy. No. It's obviously, it's kind of weirdly cathartic. You know, I'm literally able to do in movies what you can't do in real life.
Did you love superheroes and comic books when you were growing up?
Oh, most definitely, yeah. I have spent a lot of time in my childhood and now even in my adulthood reading comic books, reading graphic novels, playing a lot of video games that are based on that IP, seeing a lot of cartoons and shows and movies that are all based on all that IP.
Tell us a little bit about your character.
He's lives a pretty regular life. He's a teacher. Is just retired, and he gets pulled into an extraordinarily difficult day.
Hello.
It's our city tonight. We're so thrilled to have you here.
Why, thank you. I've been coming in since I played The Cave. Remember The Cave? No, that was before you were born. Okay, thanks. Anybody old enough to remember The Cave, you've probably got another year to live.
Jake, what does the foundation mean to you?
What does it mean to me?
Yes.
Well, I mean, David asked me to help out, and I know it's for a good cause, and that's what it means to me. I mean, you do a lot of these, you know? I mean, and it's not hard. I mean, idiot celebrities just show up and sing a few songs and tell a few jokes. I mean, the real heroes here are the people that, you know, put up these drapes and get the insurance bond and make sure the traffic is moving.
Because of David and what he does, I've done what I've done. You know, we both sort of came into this space more or less around the same time in our lives and have been pioneers in helping each other figure out inventive ways to scale and make it sustainable. And 30 years, you know, you have to be here.
Wow, thank you. And Stephanie?
Yeah, I mean, it's a real treat to be here tonight. I've got to know him over many years as he was supporting Andre's foundation back in Vegas. And, you know, just getting to know a little bit about him and what he cares for and being here to hopefully change more lives and then better more lives is for us a big deal.
Well, it's a lot of fun, and especially love that I could make Jay Leno laugh.
Yes, well done on that red carpet. Yeah, you met a lot of people on that carpet. It was like David Foster you met, Oprah, I think, yeah?
Yeah, well, no, they didn't let me interview Oprah, though.
But you said hi to her, didn't you?
I sure did.
Okay. Well, I've also enjoyed some wonderful red carpet moments, and here's a few of my favorites. On the red carpet here at the Whistler Film Festival, and I see you got the memo on the turtleneck and suit jacket.
Yes.
Very nice.
Required uniform.
We older guys, absolutely. Getting all serious now, give our viewers out there, Whistler Film Festival viewers, a breakdown on Theo. This is such a powerful performance by you. There's so many moments in this film, but tell our viewers about Theo.
Theo is a music producer, a British music producer working in LA who is a schizophrenic. He is on medication which controls his condition, but during the course of the film he decides to come off it because I think he's worried that it might be stifling his creativity. But of course what that leads to is a schizophrenic break.
A familiar face joining us on the red carpet right now, Eric McCormick. Eric, your character Hank, for people who have not seen the film, we look forward to seeing it in a lot of theaters next year. Tell the people about Hank. He evolves throughout the movie. I thought certain things about him, and then I thought certain things about him later.
Well, that's exactly true. He's not exactly a deadbeat dad, but he is a deadbeat.
Yeah.
He's trying to be a good dad. But yeah, Hank realized 5 years ago that the mill was going to fire him, so he faked an injury to get the compensation from the government, and he just keeps faking the same injury. So he's actually pretty fit.
Yeah.
But when he goes outside the house, he's riding a scooter in a neck brace and an impressive mustache.
Well, I'm standing beside a guy who's no stranger to viewers out there. He's done a great, we're moving as I'm talking. He did a great movie that I enjoyed. It's Offside, the Harold Ballard story. Now, as a guy that grew up, Jason, in the 70s and the 80s in Toronto and cheered for the Leafs until I moved to Vancouver and had to rid myself of that Leaf fan, you brought up a lot of pain, but it's a good pain because it's a great film. Tell our viewers that may not know the story of this odd owner of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Harold Ballard.
Well, it's difficult to encapsulate in a 20-second soundbite. I mean, for people who don't know, Harold Ballard was this very mercurial, difficult to understand owner of the Toronto Maple Leafs, who owned the Leafs from 1972 until he passed away in 1990.
The man behind it, the producer, Denny Tedesco. And he is up here to, I'm going to call it, Denny, if you don't mind me saying, what you're up here to talk about is The Immediate Family, which I'm going to call the sequel. Is that okay to say?
I've been using that.
Good, okay. Wrecking Crew, of course, about the fantastic studio musicians, which included your wonderful father, who were part of some of the greatest hits of the 60s. Well, now we're going to talk about some of the great musicians that were in the studio that put together and were part of some of the great songs of the 70s. Talk about your character, Marco, and this desire to maybe create a new life.
Well, I don't think he has a desire to create a new life. I think he's
get back to.
I think he's lost.
Okay.
I think he gets godsmacked in a series of events when we are introduced to him.
Mm-hmm.
He's worked to the top. He's had great influence by his mentor, who was dying and gave him the company.
Mm-hmm. I'm with Sarah, Megan Thomas. Sarah, congratulations on this film. And I will say this, a story that was really needed to be told because there's so many unsung heroes of the Second World War. And as we get further and further away from that time, it's easy to forget what happened. Tell our viewers a little bit about your character. And the story and the journey she goes on.
Sure. So it's basically the hidden figures of the spy world. And there are 3 incredible women in Churchill's secret army that spied in Nazi-occupied France. And I play Virginia Hall, who was an American and disabled. And she joined the war effort in London, became a spy for the British SOE, and ultimately the spy the Nazis dubbed the most dangerous of all, and the first woman to work for the CIA after the war.
Well, those are a lot of great moments. You had a lot of fun.
We've enjoyed a lot of that over the last decade, but we're into our 11th year, so let's get back to our 11th year of Our City Tonight.
Closed captioning and other promotional considerations provided by Hamilton High Street Senior Residence, Richmond's newest senior living community.
Well, thanks for watching, but it is time to say goodbye.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'd love you to do that at our website, ourcitytonighttv.com. I'm Jim Gordon.
And I'm Lita Leapins.
We'll see you on the next edition of Our City Tonight.
Visit ourcitytonighttv.com for all the latest episodes, segments, and our new podcast. And please be sure to like and subscribe.
The Richmond Sentinel, providing news, entertainment, and human interest stories in print and online.